Hey, Bill in Virginia again. And it's time to take the end scale out of its storage position and put the legs back on it. I'm going to be doing a little bit more scenery work today and adding a few more feeders. So I need it where I can get to all sides of it. So I'm going to do another time lapse, put the camera in a different position, and you can see me put it back together again. Well, success getting it down and getting it set back up. Uh, Video again. Took a little bit longer that time to put the pieces back on than it did when the pink foam board wasn't present. So about 6 minutes or so for setup. Not complaining. Pretty good. Now I'm going to start doing some additional work on it. I think this weekend I'm going to get the turntable pit put in. I've still got some cork to do. I'm going to start gluing down the track into final position, at least on the mains. And see what I can do over the next couple of days. It's cold in Richmond, so a good weekend to spend in the garage. Well, a Sunday night comes to a close, and got a fair amount done on the layout this weekend. I got the layout cleaned up. You've seen in a previous piece of this video how it came out of storage and then down. I've got some track glued down. You can see the nail boxes that are sitting on top of the track to kind of weight it down. Got more cork laid over in what will be the engine service area and in and around some of the crossover tracks that are down that way. I built a bridge over this piece of what's going to be my water feature. I used an old Atlas deck girder bridge, cut the pieces off, added a little piece of is it Popular, real thin stuff, just to make it like that. It's a little on the wide side, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make like an old abandoned line coming off here, so it looks like it'll have been reconfigured. What I have done is I was going to use some Caboose Industry ground throws on my switches. What I found out was I put the track too close to the edge of the table, which for a 3 foot width, and to keep it curves nice, I had to do that. And I'm going to put maybe a little bit of plexiglass or something up on the side at some point down the road. But I don't have any room for the switches. And I also found that they are, even though they're for N scale, and they're great because I use them on all of my HO scale turnouts, they're just too big. They just don't look right. So I was watching a video a while ago, and it was like an N scale club layout. And I noticed that they were manually throwing the switches, which I thought was great. And they had something in the switch, not a switch stand, and I'm not sure exactly what they used, but I played around with some stuff that I had in the garage, and what I came up with, and it might be the same solution that they did, is I took a track nail for N scale that I had a bunch of, cut the pointy end off, ran it through the throw on the switch, a drop of super glue, and lo and behold, I've got a permanent little throw. It works. With the cork, I get enough friction so that it's not going to move. And I'm going to do that with all of my switches. It should work. And I'm going to put that to the test some night this week, because I'm going to add a bunch more of those, and then I'm going to run the train once the glue dries on those tracks, and then I kind of give them a quick pass with a bright boy just to get any glue off the rails off. So I'll let you know how that works out. That'll still be in this video, just the next piece.
Hey all, Bill in Virginia. A Friday night and out in the garage doing a little work on the N scale layout. Going to be doing some running later on the HO scale layout, but I've got most of the track glued in place. Feeder wires are in. Still got some work to do over on the yard. What I've been finding is code 55 Atlas switches, at least the number 5s that are left hand, are kind of hard to find. I've went to a number of different websites and been watching on eBay, and I've not seen anything for the better part of 2 weeks. So I did find a shop today and spent about $100 to get a handful of switches. So hopefully I'll get those by next weekend and I can wrap up the track in the yard. I will still be doing some additional track install in some of the industrial area, but I'm going to get some buildings built before I do anything with the track work. What I'm going to be doing this weekend is I'm going to start doing a little bit of scenery. If you've watched my HO scale build over the past couple of years, I tend to get impatient. I like to add a little bit of scenery as I'm doing other things, so I'm going to start on this corner. So I'm going to, if this weekend works out, I'm going to start molding this hill, start molding the ridge a little bit, and I've got some Sculpt-A-Mold that I'm going to play with and see what I can come up with for right here. I've also bought a whole bunch of trees, and some of them I'll customize to make it look good, but we'll see what I can do. So the next piece of the video is going to show this as a work in progress. All right, it's still Friday night. Starting to form up the hills over on this side, and I'm going to try something different. And I'm guessing there's probably been other guys out there that have tried this. So I'm using fiberglass or fiber drywall tape. You can see it on here. It's the mesh. It's self-adhesive. Doesn't have to stick totally together. I'm going to be using Sculpt-A-Mold to press in and form the hard shell around the hills that I've got here. I'm going to experiment just on this side with this piece first and see how I can do. I'm going to be doing that on Saturday. All right, now it's about time to call it a day. All right, a couple of hours have elapsed. Been in and out of the house doing other things, but I've got the Sculpt-A-Mold base coat on this piece of the terrain, kind of coming up to a couple of feet in. Next step is got hydrocal. I'm going to mix up a bit of a soupy batch of that. I'm going to use putty knives. Actually going to use a good stiff paintbrush. And I'm going to start filling in the little voids on the Sculpt-A-Mold and then start to put in some rock strata. Let's see how that works. So that'll be in the next clip. Well, it is now after lunchtime. So, got hydrocal put on the Sculpt-A-Mold. Been able to do a little carving in it. Once it dries completely, I'll do a little bit more carving. And then probably tomorrow I'll do some coloring. So I've got rock formations etched into it. I've actually got a little fault line etched into it as well with some offset on rock formations. Years and years ago I was a geologist, so I like to put in things that look kind of real. Then a little bit more over on this way. I'm going to leave the offcuts that are down there just as talus from the hills that has come down. I will color it when I color the rest of the rock and see what I get. But you know what, that's going to be all for now. It's a very nice Saturday afternoon in Richmond, Virginia, and I've got yard work to do. So I'm going to post this and we'll put another one out here a little later. But you can kind of see what I've been doing. Got the top off. Cork is in place on everything with the exception of the yard where, like I said a little bit earlier in the video, I have ordered additional switches. I will wait for those to come in and then I will finish that area off and then start doing some of the stuff on the industrial area. But trains are running and everything is good. Once I get this piece a little bit farther along and the tape off the tracks, clean the tracks up a little bit, and that'll be part of my next video. So have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for watching.